Welcome to the first episode of that 2.54 centimeter barrier, a spin-off from the Quiet on Set Spotlight World Cinema section. On the show each week, Kevin and I will pick a movie that doesn't belong, to the US, to the UK, to some English-speaking realm, but one from that Bong Joon-ho quote needs that 1-inch barrier to be surpassed. We just adjusted that for, the normal system, the metric system that the rest of the world uses.
And for this episode, Ewan picked Asghar Farhadi's Best Foreign Language winner, A Separation from 2011.
I think we don't have much else to say other than in the show, we'd like to get to the meat, directly talk about these movies in detail, and hopefully learn a thing or two about a different culture from us. We just noted that it is the Best Picture winner. It has it was the first Iranian film that won the foreign language.
Really?
Yeah, it was the first one.
Oh.
And I don't know if since then there was another one that won. I actually didn't check up on that. But it also was the highest grossing film internationally for Iran. It made 20 million. And it is widely seen to this day still to be one of the best movies coming out of Iran. I mean, just look at Letterboxd, for example, at spot number 90 on the top 500 list of all time, a 4.4 average rating, and I have so many mutuals, so I have to add a 5 out of 5 stars, and we finally caught up with it as well. Kevin, could you tell us what A Separation is about?
A married couple is faced with a difficult decision to improve the life of their child by moving to another country or to stay in Iran and look after a deteriorating parent who has Alzheimer's disease.
This movie, I think, is really strong in the way that it establishes all of these relationships and the sort of expectations and the stiltedness of not feeling like you're progressing. Ultimately, this is about moving to the future. Do they need to be split apart to do so, or will they align with their future and move forward together? But then it feels like everything that unfolds here just lets us in this ever increasing frustrating loop of not really getting out. And then it's a really interesting drama of sort of lies that are being said for self-preservation, but then who are you honest with? And that back and forth is just is really interesting as a movie, regardless of where it takes place. And then you have the added layer of Iran in I think this does take place contemporarily when the movie was made, so in the early 2010s, 2010, 2011, having been under theocracy regime for a while now. And I thought this movie was going to be more political. I don't know, did you see this film as a very political movie, saying stuff about Iran? Or because I felt the drama was a bit more in the focus for me. Maybe that's just me not knowing certain things about Iran.
In terms of Iran, we have praised the movie that we have seen from Iran. I'm just quickly gonna go to mine. I've seen There's No Evil. I have seen 10, Hit the Road, A Hero, Layla's Brothers. It was just an accident.
A Hero being from the same director as well, right?
Yeah, and also Witness and all these other movies that, talk about Iran but have been made in other countries. I quickly forgot the director, not Tatami, but the same actress. She's in a journalist that follows a serial killer. I forgot the title.
Oh, Holy Spider? Yeah.
Yeah, those type of movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they always, the thing that we've praised, or at least I praised about them, is that they never criticize the government hey, autocracy bad. And it's no. They highlight a specific part of the law and expand upon that. And that's always a strength that I've seen in Iranian cinema. And now all of a sudden we got A Separation. I was sort of expecting the same. And here all of a sudden we get this drama that is so personal to them. The only maybe slight political thing you can see is the creditors, how they really go after you and just sort of put you in jail the moment you do anything that sort of crosses the line. Even the justice room, oh yeah, 3 days prison. Oh okay, that quickly, almost no real due process there. So I was really surprised, and I must say it delivered. I do think the movie has one major flaw, but it doesn't hold the movie back. Mm-hmm. And I guess we're going to spoiler territory.
Yeah, we're definitely in spoiler territory, and I think we can kind of vouch, at least for one of us. And sometimes we are picking a movie like I did this week, where we are both watching it for the first time. But usually it is also sort of a quality seal, you know. So definitely worth checking out as well. And I guess what I didn't say in the intro is that you can find in the playlist like this episode, but also the other segments that we've already did for a bunch of other films on the main show. But yeah, when it comes to spoilers, do you want to say, like, does it concern spoilers, your specific thing that doesn't work for you, or did you want to talk about that later?
It talks about the first confrontation, the confrontation that, you know, is surrounds where the entire movie is surrounded about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can talk about that, like, because I feel like it is sort of the reasons unfold from there on out, like why we lie, why we
like, it's basically the inciting incident.
Yeah.
So during this movie, I must say, I was always on the side of the father. Like, I was never really on the side of the maid and her husband, because you see them that push, and it's like, that wouldn't really do the job. And they even, like, when they do the scene when they go back to the plate, and it's like, look at this angle. It's like, I knew he never caused her eventual miscarriage. Like, I just knew. Maybe it would have been a bit more interesting if you never saw the push, and then maybe after, like, you know, based on the things that his daughter says, or
more from the daughter's point of view. Yeah,
maybe then the movie would have been even better for me, because I just never believed that the maid and her husband ever, like, had a, you know, an argument, like a deal breaker that just, you know, seals the deal for them to get the money, or like to him to get into prison and charged for murder. I just never had that thing. Did you have that or not?
Yeah, I think it's interesting still, because I think if he pushed a pregnant woman and knew, and we find out later that he did know, but said he forgot in the moment, kind of convenient still. But I think he was just like, he was mad. So like, that is maybe a thing where he forgets, but it doesn't justify pushing her. And she loses the kid, and it's not clear if it happened there or not. Probably it does have an effect on, you know, going to prison or not. But it also feels like, hey, you pushed a married woman, a pregnant woman, and that could have harmed her. So I don't know. Like, obviously, the due diligence would be that maybe you don't get put into prison for that. But I don't know under the system if like that really mattered, because it's like a thing, like a hard line that you don't cross. And like a lot of these hard lines that are established that often are working against women who put them in such like restrictive positions, where they're so dependent on not telling or lying. Like, other than lying, they just don't have any agency, very little agency. And like, the whole conflict in that relationship is also that like, she sort of needs the approval, the go ahead to, I guess, sort of leave the country, and she really is tied to the place through her daughter especially. And I think like a scene that really worked for me is when she like tells him that like the reason that the daughter is staying at his is she knows that she won't, like, that the wife won't leave the country without the kid, so she's staying, so to keep it all together. It is surprising to me, like, I don't know if you noticed, but there's no score apart from like the credits.
I didn't notice.
And I like, to me it wasn't noticeable in the way that like the tension wasn't in there. I think there is something about, from the limited amount of Iranian cinema that I've seen, when a lot of these arguments unfold, it's just like overlapping sort of dialogue, and people like shouting out what they want to say, and they like, it almost feels like they're like in a song and dance of like, and they have so much to say. And it's such an interesting like language cinematically. I think it works really well for sort of these pleas of things, or like, and it always feels like it sort of sounds the same no matter what they say. Like, sometimes they say the most horrendous shit, and it still sounds the same, and then it's like it's a bit funny to me. Like, I've noticed that in the few films that I've seen from Iran so far.
Yeah, we've talked about in the past, like, how whenever like these men, especially like the bullshit dreadful meter. Thing, the bullshit meter we talked about, and
which isn't that much in this movie. You know, it's not as
well. It's whenever that happens, is the husband's wife like the maid's husband that really does a lot of the bullshit talking. I guess we'll talk it. But I don't know what it is about that language, but it's whenever they like really use like the throat, it's like like that sort of noise that they use. That really unsettles you whenever they like are doing the bullshit-o-meter talking. Also think it's very interesting that they don't mention the country where they are going to like flee or like immigrate to. Immigrate to, sorry. Just like, I don't know what country you would pick back in 2011. Would you go to France? Would you go to Germany? I mean, I presume it's Europe, regardless. But
yeah, It's, I mean, that's hard to say. I don't know, but I felt like, especially because it's such a like thing, the setup for this whole story is them in front of the court, and then we're just sort of stuck in this court again and again. That the wife character, whose name is Simin, I think. We don't really like see a lot of her. I thought that like she was gonna have a bigger presence. It really is Bayman Mahdi as Nader, who's like, you know, basically in the biggest chunk of this movie. And it's interesting to me that since then he's also been the one who has bridged over to the most amount of sort of like recognizable roles, like also in more commercial things like Six Underground. He was recently in Crime 101 as well, and he's done a lot of action stuff. He's also in the upcoming Enemies from Henry Dunham. So when it comes to these, I don't know how large his part is, but then Leila Hadami, who I've seen in another film from 2008 called Shirin, and that's the only other film I've seen her in. But she's like just so striking. So you feel it's like there's a familiarity to her. And then with Sarah Bayet, I haven't seen her in any other movie yet, and she also hasn't done that many. Like for me, it was recognized, especially with, you know, Jafar Panahi talking about that way more openly now. The way that you are filming a lot of stuff from a balcony out inside a house, like to me it was crazy that they could film inside a courtroom. Maybe, you know, I didn't read up on that, or like that wasn't shot in public. I assume they sort of maybe had like a building that they were shooting in. How restrictive was it? Because I think he did speak out, the director, while they were filming, and they shut down filming for 10 days. Because he was like, I think condemning something, because Jafar Panahi was in prison, I think, while they were shooting this, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the way that they shoot out of cars, like often, right? And then when we have the sort of story built around a lie that she was hit by a car, it's really convenient for, like, it's smart storytelling to they have a reason for that to not be shown and that be relevant to the story. And obviously you couldn't do it in public, so you end up leaving that off screen. I think that's like using your limitations in the best way possible. If you want to, yeah, it's still a choice to, I guess, surround it around that, but I found that to be quite a smart choice.
I mean, I feel like it's a specialty from Iranian filmmakers.
I mean,
at this point,
a specialty out of necessity, right?
Yeah, but like, you know, a specialty in like that's clearly being, you know, spread to other filmmakers. Like, hey, here's perhaps if you want to shoot a movie, this is how you can do it. Because we've watched another Iranian movie this year called The Divine Comedy, and there is like a scene in there where he's going to the judge or like the court, whatever, and like pleading his case of, hey, this is why my movie should get a wider release, or like should actually be in theaters. And like he's really clamoring for it, but it's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Not even like one showing that he wants to do to the audience as a sort of test screening. He doesn't even get that. So I feel like that is a fair representation from what I've seen and heard of how Iranian filmmakers get treated out there.
I mean, it was the same. Apparently, like there was only one TV sort of like coverage of it winning the Oscars, and it aired like once. It's really hard to, I guess, prove. It's just like one of the IMDb trivia things that we'll just blindly trust. But it's also because because of the influence, now we would have to go and retread all of the history with the US in Iran, or the UK even before that, BP, like that sort of oil company that came in, deals were made, UK couldn't get the deal, Big Brother, US comes in, Eisenhower through the CIA, through like an operation that doesn't cost that much, with a lot of other things going on in the country, topples the leadership and puts someone from the US in place who still doesn't uphold the deal that they initially wanted with the oil. And then that all leads up to the student and just a general Iranian revolution in 1979. You got 10 years of a Shah that then is replaced, that has been since 89, the Ayatollah been the one reigning this restrictive theocracy, when in the years before, the one that they actually put in place, the one that they toppled, wasn't an official leader or like a Shah in Iran, but was a democratically elected one that never got like officially in there, but he was leading the country. That's the one that the US put out, and under him, there were the most sort of like a bit more openness. And then the years preceding that, after the ones that they put in place, there were like really brutal crackdowns on political opponents. But this is the time where like you don't have the mandatory burqa or like any sort of like restriction for women was way less. And then the theocracy won out in 79 because they were more sort of prepared for this. They had like a regime structure. They were going through like with mosques, the communication net was up there, and the students wanted to get rid of, you know, the sort of political crackdown, but they didn't want to get rid of all of the freedoms, and they were like potentially even open up Iran for democracy. And because they weren't as organized, that sort of didn't come to fruition, and it's just been like bad leadership for like decades now. And obviously the Ayatollah, who's been reigning since the late 90s, which by the way, there was just like the Shah died and then another one came. There wasn't like a political assassination or anything there, but he just died like, you know, a few
weeks ago, yeah.
And the guy in place is just his son now, and it's not funny.
Apparently,
but the
he's
funny
even
thing
worse.
Is, yeah, and the funny thing is that the US is wanting to put the son of the Shah that they put in place in the first place back in there. It was like the Shah that they put in place in like the 40s, and his son. So he's like an old ass fuck as well, and he's been a US like he's been a dissident who's been living in the States for a long time. It's I don't know. It's just a plague of bad leadership after again and again and again. And it's also like one of the reasons why this sort of war is happening right now is because all of the proxies, like in Syria, now let's not make any mistakes, in Yemen and in Lebanon, I believe, all kind of crumbled. So like Iran has been at the weakest it's been for like a really long time, and that's why Israel and the US are coming in. And it's just is unfortunate, because ultimately that is all like like the crackdowns here as well as like the protests, which led to 15 to maybe potentially even 30,000 deaths from the protests, where the government was just killing people.
Oh yeah.
I looked up like the horrendous stuff that has been happening in Palestine, right? I looked at the death toll there, and that's just like in a few weeks you like do a lot of damage that like is also done in Palestine. Like that whole region is so riddled with death from the powerful to the people who are just like trying to live. And I think for me, this movie, that's why like I'm trying to make a really large point, is the whole economic struggle of like sort of the woman needing to like the pregnant woman, the maid needing to get work but not telling, and like sort of that feels like it is sort of breeding ground for desperation as well. And it is just like quietly telling you, no, just like get by and somehow not change anything about the system, which isn't laid out for this to fully work, just because. And it obviously is like the creditors for him, right? That he just like gets put back into prison as well. Like, and when he's like accused of murder and he can't go home, and like, oh, my like the whole reason he wants to stay is because of the dad that he wants to take care of with Alzheimer's. It's like all of these struggles that, yeah, there's not adequate care from the top down for its people.
And also the fact that he gets charged with murder because the rule is, I guess, is like, oh, the baby was 19 weeks old.
Yeah.
It was basically a human being. You are going to be held for murder charge. And
sorry, in that moment, she also says, I'm not that mad about the baby. I'm more mad about like him calling her a liar, which was crazy
like
to me
thief.
as well. A thief, yeah. It's like, damn, okay.
Can I lighten the show up a little bit?
Sure.
It's basically saying, hey, swear on the Quran. Is that basically like the Uno reverse? I mean, it's crazy because it happens twice in this movie, I believe.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. And also the fact that there's like a hotline for religion, because when the father first, like the grandfather, first pisses himself, and the maid is there, and it's like, wait, is this like response? Like, the fact that there's like a hotline for that, I didn't even know about that. Like, hey, like, can I do this? Can I help a human being out who's in a really bad position, has no help out? And like the fact that religion comes into that like factor of, hey, this is the job you sort of got, given. It's such a weird thing for me.
Yeah, it is quite crazy because she also tells like her kid to not tell her dad. From a very early age, she's like told to not tell the dad things that would make him angry. And
I also throughout this movie was like this like her daughter, the 5-year-old, has been radicalized so hard. Like she must hate those people, like the way her mom got treated, and like she must hate them people.
I mean, that's one look in court where like is it in court? I think it's in court, or it might be when they are at their house. But like,
yeah,
where the two daughters, no, it is at their house, I think, when they look at each other, and the face on the little kid is like, it's so telling. It's like, why do I have to be put through all of this? And obviously from her point of view, she will see them as like the agitators of this. I think she also didn't say, right, that grandpa got out, or did she say that? Did she tell him that she had to grab him?
I think the maid figured it out because they were, handling the situation, and then the door was open, and then the maid figured, oh, he got out.
No, I mean, did she tell the husband, like
Oh,
did she tell Nadar that he got out?
I don't think so, because he had to tell him afterwards when, hey, swear on the Quran. I think that's when she's telling the truth.
So it's like in both of her lives, she is like lying to not get men mad.
Yeah.
Instead of being honest about the situation that put her in this place in the first place. It's like it feels like they take a lot of time to communicate with each other, but they don't say the things that are relevant for sort of like escalation to not happen. I think that's sort of the problem that they're having.
Whether it's out of desperation, whether it's out of shame, there are a lot of reasons that she's doing for why she's doing it. And there are a couple of things that the movie leaves open as well. So you got the money that is missing. Like I saw a few reviews that were like, hey, I don't know what happened here. I think that she used the money to pay those people in the beginning when moving up the piano, the sofa. I don't remember what it was, but I think
she had to
the
pay
them?
That she had to pay a bit more, for another.
Yeah, so that's why the money is missing from the like his drawers, I guess. And at the end, they're also all dressed in black. Because at first I thought, oh, the grandfather died and they're at the funeral home or whatever. But no, they're actually at the court. So I figured, oh, but they're still all in black. So I guess the grandfather died because they're also making the choice at the end of, hey, where do you want to live? Do you want to go with your mother or do you want to stay with your father? And like, I don't think the kid would choose if the grandfather was still alive.
I was about to say, if the grandfather is still alive, she'd definitely stay with the dad. And keep her mother there as well, because the mother is not leaving without her. It's like, it really leaves it open, because it's hard to say if any of the sort of things that they have endured just then as a family is enough for them to leave the place, to actually leave and to move forward as well. Because they are like sort of, it is about like, who are you choosing to go with? It's not that they are family together. Like, to
what do you think she picks? Like, do you have?
I mean, I've also feel like it is a bit tough because I think we don't get to see enough of Simin to like really see her as a full character. So it's hard for me to side with her immediately just because I feel like that might be the better future. But I would be lying if I say that, like, you know, men aren't the perpetrators of these systems. Then I would like some change to come through with sort of the women, and maybe, but also the solution to things can't always be leave the country, because it's not like there aren't other problems in the country, and especially like also in other surrounding regions. So it's like, it's just a really shitty spot to be in. And it was like this other sad and beautiful world, I believe it was called, like a film from Lebanon that's coming out in some places later this year. And it was exactly about like that, growing up as kids in sort of this war-torn country, and then finding the love there, one of them leaving, the other one staying, and then returning, and then, you know, sort of how's that moving forward. And it felt like an extension of a similar story of this, like if you go into the future, maybe when it broken apart way earlier, but it felt like something that was quite close to a separation too, thematically. A really, really beautiful film, beautifully shot. And I think also in the separation, the way that they use the staging, the blocking, like I really like the ending shots when the credits roll, where they're in the same place, but they're so far apart, like literally with the space between them. And I think there's also a little crack in the glass window.
The windows, yeah.
It's just it's very well edited too. It's just like really expertly put together, and it's like that is harder than it looks when it is just like a back and forth of pretty repetitive scenes of being in a room fighting about the same thing, when it can feel frustrating as a viewer, not just as a story that unfolds. And it feels like it needs to have a bit of both to be sort of great. To be honest, I'm still a bit surprised that this, you know, goes all the way to like an international Oscar. Although we did look at the competition, and I think the competition that year from what was nominated wasn't that great. But I'm pleasantly surprised that something like this wins.
Yeah, the other 4 movies were Monsieur Lazare, which I have seen, In Darkness, which I haven't seen, Footnote, Bullhead, which is a Belgian movie, and we're never gonna get an Oscar. And then we got A Separation, and just purely based on IMDb scores, A Separation got 8.3, then 7.3, 7.1, 7.3, 7.5. So I guess it was a solid year, but there was like a clear front runner. And Separation also got a writing screenplay, which obviously sort of seals the deal in terms of that win. Also, could you want to mention that the mother's job is that she's a teacher? So in some way, she also had a higher standing in society of Iran, and she even in a position where she can leave the country. Like the maid obviously can. She doesn't have enough money. She doesn't have enough of a high standing in society, and she's just desperate to get on by scraps because she even complains about, hey, I don't know if it's like 300,000 a month or a day. I do not know about the currency. That was not clear to me.
Well, I don't know. It might have really changed. It's okay if you go to the Iranian rial. It currently 1 rial is 0.001 US dollars.
Oh god.
So 300k is about 23 cents.
Like you
pennies.
Oh,
that is fucking crazy. But probably it did change. It was. Let's see. Let's look at the 5. Oh my god. Okay. Well, it did tank from 0.0000000
oh god
24.
Oh god.
No. This I reset 0.0000024 in December, and then it tanked to 0.0 even before the war actually. And it was never that high. Like the high, like in 2016, it was 4031. I guess it is daily. It would be crazy if that's not daily.
Yeah, it
Wait, how many did you say? 300,000?
Yeah, 300,000.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, 2011 might have been different, and I don't have the sort of rate back then, but it is, yeah, that is pretty bad.
In that way, this movie isn't really political, but talks way more about the people that live in Iran, and I guess that is also political in some way.
I think the economy can be very political in like what actually ends up winning, because often that influences more if you have a like, you know, two party system, or not truly a two-party system, but it is a two-party system in the States, where like economy really drives like the next election a lot, and that is the case in every other place where there are elections. And if you live under, you know, this theocracy rule where there are no elections, then I guess that goes out the window. So yeah, I really, it's just an uncertain future. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this movie. I thought it was going to be like even a bit more about the system, but I should have known that like Iranian film, like you always say, is honing in on one specific thing, and what that specific thing is that like what it criticizes. I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on like what specifically wants to criticize about the system.
I guess it's more of a story about the people than the actual system.
Exactly.
And as a mystery movie, because again, the movie's point is basically trying to say like, hey, is he guilty or is he innocent? And as a mystery movie, it sucks in the sense of I was always on the father's side. I knew that he didn't cause the miscarriage because of the evidence and because we see it. If it would have been from the daughter's point of view, then I guess it would have been left up a bit more in the air. But because we saw it so clearly and abundantly, I was never wondering like, oh, is it guilty or is it not? It's very much more about the unraveling of that inciting incident. And in that regard and in that case, I do think the movie is quite effective.
I mean, it does sort of steer away from only this case to the husband who now threatens, you know, to go after their daughter or like do something stupid, and he says that in the courtroom as well. Yeah, that sort of stuff is then when they have to adjust when there's an immediate threat from sort of the infighting that is caused by the, I guess, system that they all live in, but that doesn't feel like it's a clear, you know, critique of, I guess the same way it also makes the point of like him being radicalized for a job that he went to court for, to get there where there was an injustice done to him, and he had to like they just told him to sit at home, and sort of that frustration is boiled up in his wife having to go to work and lying to him. So I feel, I don't know, it definitely is like there's so much in there, but I think there's not one center point. It's a larger drama that it has so many complexities. Like I think also their kid character in sixth grade is a really interesting one, because obviously she knows a lot of like how to navigate these, or like she knows how to do what for her best outcome of what she wants to happen. Yeah, and we didn't talk about the grandpa yet, but I think that performance too.
Oh, he was great.
It's just like I felt like I'm looking at someone from one experience who has Alzheimer's, who is just like lost, but it didn't overplay that as someone who's like, oh, now I got a memory and like, ooh, and these glimpses, but more the like, yeah, sunken in reality of like a pretty later stage Alzheimer's, where it's just like I think it was quite telling in a way that like two things are happening at the same time, and I think that's happening throughout this movie like the whole time. When he pees himself and or like something else happens where he has to take off the pants, and you know, Nadar goes in and the daughter is there as well, and he doesn't move. And then the father says, Nada says like, you know, go wait outside. She goes outside, and then he starts to do things which feel like, oh, it is both like improper, like not accepted for a woman to be around to see him naked. That thing that is happening, but then also at the same time, it is someone who's very vulnerable. And I think it like played in that complexity where there's both of these things happening at the same time, especially with the older generation who has lived through you know, a different time before the theocracy. So I found that to be quite a moving scene too.
the actor who played the grandpa, from what I can see, he's only been in 3 things. Under the Peach Tree, A Separation, and 5 to 5. And he died 29th of November of 2020 at the age of 98. So that's a lifelong lived. And apparently, A Separation won, like, as part of an ensemble, like the Best Actor and Actress Award at the Berlin International Film Festival back in 2011 as well.
Did you see that he's also featured, because it's one of the few, that there's a French documentary about the making of this? I don't know if it's like, it's only 52 minutes long and it looks really unprofessional. The poster looks horrendous because it's just cut off.
I was about to say.
And only has been logged by 3 people, so I guess no one has seen this ever. But I would be interested to know about more. It's just, I can't get over how horrible that poster looks. It's just like not formatted correctly.
Graphic design is my passion.
This is, I've had quite a busy week, so I feel like I would have loved to read up a bit more about, like, you know, how this movie was received at the time, and hopefully that's something that we can do in the future. This is, although, just like, you know, the beginning point of looking at more Iranian film. Not that we are gonna do this like, oh, this is the month where we're gonna look at this. We are gonna go back and forth, but we'll return to, you know, films from there. Because if I look at the films that I haven't seen from there, there's still a ton, like a lot of, like I haven't seen, for example, The Taste of Cherry yet.
I was gonna mention it.
It's one of the films that has been on my watch list for a long time. And then also, you know, a lot of films that I think one of the most iconic faces of that cinema, of Iranian cinema, has been Golshifteh Farhadi. She's also been, you know, she was the wife in Patterson. I think that's where a lot of people know her from. She was most recently in Alpha that's coming out, and the Extraction films, one of the Pirates of the Caribbean, Body of Lies. But she was also in a movie called about Ellie, and that one is also an Iranian film. And I believe I've seen her in a bunch of other things. So, there's a lot to explore, and it always is really interesting. But I was honestly, was a bit surprised by myself that I wasn't considering like a 9 out of 10 for this one, 4.5. I'm actually like at a 4 for it, which seems a bit low from the overall reception of it. But there was just something that didn't go over the hump. Maybe it was that because we talk about this a bunch with me, that like I need the individual moment to rise above the rest, and I think that didn't really happen. But that's sort of also the premise of the film, that it like it like shoots up character wise, and they like say something and then come back down, but it's not like a huge crescendo of like a building moment or anything.
I think it's a very consistent movie. It never really drops. It never really rises above anything, like you said. But I don't want that for like one inciting incident, the fact that we see it, to take away from anything of the rest. So that's why I'm still giving it like a 9 out of 10. In terms of acting, in terms of drama, I thought it was spectacular. In terms of, I guess, the mystery plot point of if he's guilty, if he's not guilty, this movie isn't great. But I didn't really watch that movie from that angle anyway.
Yeah, it's not really what it's
I thought
about,
it was really good. Really, really good. Asghar Farhadi, we're definitely going to check more movies out from him as well. I know we've done The Salesman. We've watched The Hero a few years ago.
Let us know what you think of the film if you've seen it. By the way, I said About Ellie, that's also a film that is by him, actually came out before. But I think from the sort of actors or actresses, like she's one that sort of has broken through. And I think it is like sort of because there are more eyes on him now after winning international feature. It was foreign language feature, I guess, before then. He hasn't made that many movies, you know. Like I don't know when his next one will come out. Actually I do know. It might be going to Cannes. I'm a fucking idiot. Parallel Tales is likely to be in Cannes. I almost forgot. So we might just in the preparation for that.
Parallel Tales, yeah.
Parallel Tales, yeah. It's just like that to me, and Terrestrial Versus. For some reason, they sort of sound similar-ish. But yeah, we might check out the one or the other film before we are both heading to Cannes this year as well. And if that movie gets announced in early April of the official selection there, then we'll definitely have a look at maybe The Salesman, maybe About Ellie. We'll see. But yeah, let us know what you thought of it. Thanks for tuning into this first episode of what are you looking at that? What?
I mean, we gotta announce next week's.
Yeah. Thanks for. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
The way
there's no outro written out for this. I'm sorry. I don't know. This is the first episode. Thanks for tuning in. But Kevin, what are we gonna talk about next week?
People just left already. So next week, I guess we are doing this sort of traveling ending bit now. So we're going from Iran to Japan with the movie called Kamikaze Taxi. You'll see who's starring in it. It's one of our favorite actors, which is Koji Yakusho. Yeah. Exactly. A movie from Masato Harada, whose biggest movie apparently is Bound Score Gals. But I've had this movie on my radar for quite a while now, and after having Cloud and Charisma, which also stars Koji Yakusho, I'm just feeling something with him again. And apparently this movie is really brilliant. And I guess this is sort of my revenge for Kwaidan with a movie that's 169 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Kamikaze Taxi is a crazy title. It's from 1995. And yeah, man, it looks very stylish.
Yeah, and again, all of my mutuals, 5 stars, 5 stars, 4.5, 4.5, 5 stars, 4 stars, and 3.5. So from 7 people, that's really, really high. Average score, I believe, is 4.4. Then from my mutuals. So
yeah, it gives you a bit of time. Only 1.4K logs on Letterboxd. It's not a film that's been seen by many, but you can rent it, I guess. Or I guess now mainly I see it's disc. It's not renting, so you'd have to order it. But if you have trouble with finding movies, we always say you can join our Discord and we can help you out finding some of these less accessible films. But also the premise: a young foot soldier in the Yakuza seeks revenge when his prostitute girlfriend dies after a session with a high-ranking Japanese politician with a taste for torture. And then he sets out on a kamikaze mission, which does make sense if the movie's called Kamikaze Taxi. But that is sort of a revenge tale is what we're watching next week.
I guess so, yeah.
I guess so. Anyways, wait, do you wanna end us off of the first outro for the inaugural episode of the
I'm gonna let you
2.54 inch. Fuck, I said inch again. No inches. Don't do inches here. Fuck the Americans. Which if you're American, say it with me. Fuck the Americans. I'm not taking it back. But yeah, if you want to check out more of the episodes that we've already done, then go do that. And otherwise, come back next week and we'll travel the world together, right? That's sort of the premise of this. And I can't wait to do more of these.
Yay, traveling.
But we're not emitting any greenhouse gases, right? It's the cost of travel, which is just buying movies and watching them, which isn't that great, right?
Hey, but traveling the world through movies is still a fantastic thing, and that's why we do this.
That's why we do it. We'll see you next week.